Hello students, welcome to all of you. The topic is on company meetings. This topic covers ASP Secretarial Practice Block 2 Unit 6. As you know, most of you might have experienced the meetings. In any democratic setup, it becomes mandatory to involve members of an organization in its functioning, for which they must meet and discuss on various issues to formulate policies or frame the rules of the particular organization. In large organizations, meeting of managers, directors and executives are frequently held to resolve the problems. The one of the functions of the secretary is to conduct for and conduct the meeting to take decisions of the organizations. The meetings of the company is different from the meetings of the other organizations, societies, associations. Therefore, here we have Dr. Madhutyagi to deliver lecture on company meetings. As you know, the company is formed under the law. It is an artificial person. So, to conduct the business, the board of directors has to meet frequently to take the decisions relating to the various problems of the organization to solve and to run the business. Here there are various kinds of meetings to be held as per the law, as per the memorandum and articles of the association of a company. There are various kinds of meetings. The meetings are broadly classified into three categories: shareholders meeting, directors meeting, and other than shareholders and directors meetings. The shareholders meetings are again subclassified into two categories. One is general meetings and other is class meetings. The general meetings also classified into three categories. They are general body meetings, statutory meetings and extraordinary general body meetings. The directors meetings are two types. One is board of directors meeting and committee meetings. As you know, the committee meetings means the board of directors may appoint some of the directors or some of the executives to take decisions on a specific issue. This may be ad hoc or temporary. Sometimes these committees may be permanent for some long time also. And other than shareholders and directors meetings are also classified into three categories. They are debtors meeting, creditors meetings and contributors meeting. Now we have Dr. Madhutyagi to discuss on this topic. She will discuss on kinds of meetings, requisites for conduct of meetings, means notice, quorum, agenda, who is proxy and appointment of chairman. She also discuss on motion and resolutions, methods and procedure of voting right. That means the procedure which involved in the conducting of the meetings from starting to drafting the minutes. Now I request Dr. Madhutyagi to take the session for delivery.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. I once again welcome all my students of ASP1 Secretarial Practice. Dr. Raju has very nicely given the introduction of the company meetings, what is the importance of meeting, why they are held. Let me just reinforce it. As has been said by Dr. Raju, that company is an artificial person. So I take up the definition of a company. company is an artificial person created by law, having a perpetual succession and a common seal, and is distinct from its member. So company is an artificial person. It exists in the eyes of law, but it is an artificial person. So how it conducts the business of the company, how it is conducted? So it needs the help of human beings, human intermediaries, and they are the elected representative of the shareholders, that they are the directors. So directors take decisions on different issues in meetings, but there are certain issues which involve the consent of the majority of shareholders, as their interest is involved in the company affairs. So as per the provisions of the Company Act 1956, there are different kinds of meetings. They have been classified into 3 types. They are, just a minute. The kinds of meeting you can see: meetings of shareholders, meeting of directors, and other meetings. And I told you the need for why there is need for meeting. Company, being the artificial person, is managed by board of directors, and shareholders and members who appoint the directors through election have a right to know the functioning of the board from time to time. Now, meetings of shareholders. Meetings of shareholders have been classified into 4 categories, that is statutory meeting, annual general meeting, extraordinary general meeting, and class meeting. Then comes directors meeting. It has been classified into board of directors meeting and committee of directors. Next is other meetings, meetings of debenture holders, creditor and second creditors. Third is creditors and contributories on the winding up. Now we come to the first meeting, that is meeting of shareholders, statutory meeting under section 165. What are the features of a statutory meeting? Statutory meeting is the very first meeting of the company, and this is held only once during the lifetime of a company. And 3, private companies need not hold the meeting. So the features of a statutory meeting is that it is held by a company only once during its lifetime, and it is not held by the public company. Sorry, it is not held by a private company. I am very sorry. Private companies need not hold the statutory meeting. Only public company limited by shares, they have to hold this statutory meeting, the first meeting of the company. And private company or government company, private company of any type, having share capital, having guarantee, but public company limited by guarantee and having share capital, they must hold the statutory meeting. Next is the objects. What are the objects of a statutory meeting? As I told you that shareholders' interests are involved in the affairs of the company. They want to know what is happening, what has happened since they have invested their money in the company. So they want to know about the success of the company, how the company has been floated, and there are certain matters on which their approval is required. So to know the success of how the company has been floated, what are the preliminary expenses, how what are the contracts which have been entered into the company, what is the financial position of the company, and what are the prospects of the company. So since it is the very first meeting of the company, and as the name says, statutory meeting, so public company must hold this meeting. Since it is a very first meeting of the company, shareholders would like to know, they have every right to know how the company has been floated, what are the contracts in which the company has entered into, what were the expenses which were incurred, and what is the now financial position, how company will be going to perform in future, what are its prospects, business prospects. So for this the statutory meeting is held. Now when it is to be held? When we say that it is held once in the lifetime, so it is not that any time a company can hold the statutory meeting. It should not be held not earlier than 1 month and not later than 6 months from the date the company becomes entitled to commence its business. So, as you know, when a company is incorporated, it gets the certificate of incorporation from the registrar of the company. In case of a private company, the company can commence its business as soon as it gets the certificate of incorporation. But for a public company, the company should commence its business. It can only commence its business once it gets the commencement of business certificate from registrar of company. So public company has to get two certificate. One, when it gets incorporated, certificate of incorporation, and after that it has to get the certificate to commence its business, which is not there in case of private company. So when a public company gets the certificate to commence its business, so it should hold its meeting not earlier than 1 month and not later than 6 months from the date it gets the certificate of commencement of its business. Now, if a meeting is held before that, then it is not a statutory meeting, because when the meeting is held, when it is planned to hold the meeting, the notice is sent to all shareholders indicating that it is a statutory meeting. It should attach with the notice, it should have the statutory report and other things. But if a meeting is held before that 1 month, then it is not a statutory meeting, because the notice should state that it is a statutory meeting.
So the statutory meeting must convene not less than 1 month and
Not
more than 6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
From the date when the public company gets the certificate to commence its business. In case of private company, statutory meeting is not required to be held.
And the purpose of the meeting is to inform the members about the financial position of the company as well as prospectus.
Yes, because you know, the shareholder in a public company, large number of shareholders are involved, their interest is involved. So they would like, when the company is floated, they would like to know initially what were the expenses incurred, what were the contract in which the company entered into, what are the expenses and financial positions, plus what are the prospects, whether their money has been invested in right direction or not. So the purpose of statutory meeting is this. So that is why it is held only once.
And to discuss the matters relating to the formation of company.
Yeah, exactly. To discuss the matter arising out of the promotion and formation of
and public subscription
company. Yes. And the notice is sent, it should attach with it the statutory report. Now, see, the statutory report should be sent to all the members along with the notice 21 days before the date of meeting, and copy to the registrar of the company. So when a notice of the meeting is sent, it should be sent to all the members of the company, and notice should be of 21 days, clear days notice of the meeting should be sent to the members before the meeting, and the notice should have the statutory report along with it, and the statutory report should also be sent to the registrar of the company. And the certification of the statutory report is, the statutory report must be certified by at least 2 directors and auditor of the company. And when it is certified by the 2 directors, one of the directors should be the managing director. And if there is only one director, then that should be the managing director of the company, and it should be certified by the auditor of the company. So that is the certificate of the correctness of the report. What are the contents of the statutory report, that I will tell you later. But statutory report should be sent to all the members along with the notice of the meeting, and the notice of the meeting should be sent 21 days before the meeting the company is going to hold. And one copy of it should be sent to the registrar of the company.
Dr. Madhutyagi, is it mandatory to send the notice before 21 days of the meeting? Is there any possibility,
Yeah,
if necessary, within 21 days?
No,
if
it
the
is,
90%,
when 21 days notice is must. That is also 21 days clear notice. It means when you are sending the notice and when the meeting is held, the in between time period should be 21 days. If it is by post, then 48 hours are added to the 21 days.
That means the day of notice and the day of meeting should be excluded.
Yeah.
This 21
Yeah,
days.
so 21, it means 23 days total. In all, the notice should be sent to all the members. And if it is less than 21 days, then it may be ratified by the
Members,
members.
95% of the members.
Otherwise, it is not the legally convened meeting. So 21 days notice is must, and if it is less than 21 days, then it must be ratified in the meeting by the members. Now, what are the contents of the statutory report? These are the details you see on the slide. Total number of shares allotted, abstract of receipt and payments account, name, address and occupation of directors and auditor, contents for approval, areas of call from directors and manager, commission or brokerage paid to the directors. So these are the few contents of the statutory report. Now, what are the rights of the member regarding this? That is, why the statutory report is sent? That is, to discuss the statutory report relating to formation of the company, and to adjourn the meeting, and also to inspect the list of members. So members who are present in the statutory meeting, they have every right to discuss the statutory report, which is relating to the formation and incorporation of the or the promotion of the company. Meeting can also be adjourned, and adjourned meeting can be held again. The statutory meeting can be adjourned, and it can be adjourned and held again. And members have the right to inspect the list of the member. They should have, in the meeting, they should have every right to inspect the list of the members of the company. Now, if the statutory meeting is not held, is the company is responsible for this, for not holding the statutory meeting? Yes, statutory meeting must be convened, must be held within 1 month, within 6 months, not later than 6 months, and not before 1 month from the date of the company gets the certificate to commence its business. So when the statutory meeting is not held, then every director is responsible for this. He is liable to a fine, and which may extend up to rupees 5,000. And the members, they can file a petition for the compulsory winding up of the company. If you have read company law, in the winding up, it is one of the reasons to wind up the company, that is compulsory winding up by the court. One of the reason is for not holding the statutory meeting. Members can go to the court and say that since meeting is not held, so the company should be wound up. They can go to the court and file a petition for the compulsory winding up of the company. And company on petition of the members can can order the winding up of the company. But in normal course, normally the court is very reasonable, is liberal on this ground. But it may not on the petition may order that the company may be wound up because it has not held the statutory meeting. It may order the company that because of some reason or the other, the statutory meeting has not been held. So the court may order that okay, within this reasonable time you hold the statutory meeting before giving the compulsory winding up order. Because one of the clauses is that the director in default is fined. Fine may go up to 5,000 rupees, or the company can be wound up because it is a strong, valid ground for the compulsory winding up of the company. But court generally they don't on the petition don't immediately order for the compulsory winding up on the ground of statutory meeting. They will give the time to the company that okay, if the meeting is not held for some reason or the other, it may order the company that okay, you hold the meeting within this reasonable period of time.
For this, the registrar, on application, the registrar or the members, if they approached the court, there is a possibility to wind up the...
Yeah, because this is one of the very strong ground for the winding up, compulsory winding up by the court. They may, any member can go because it is the responsibility of the company to hold the statutory meeting, to inform the shareholder about the prospects of the company, and shareholder may feel that there is something wrong, that the statutory meeting has not been held, so they may go to the court for the winding up of the company, and court may order. But court may also give some time to the company. It may ask the reason for why the meeting has not been held. So if the court is satisfied, it can give some time to the company that okay, you hold the statutory meeting within this reasonable period of time, if the company is satisfied with the reasons that the meeting has not been held on such and such.
That means registrar can also place an application before the court if the company won't conduct the statutory audit within the statutory meeting within the prescribed period, because the registrar also supposed to receive the certificate notice of the statutory meeting as well as the report of the statutory
meeting. The statutory report. Yeah. Next is the annual general meeting. This is the second kind of shareholders meeting. First is the statutory meeting, second is annual general meeting. It is called AGM. It is under section 166. Every company is to hold an annual general meeting every year in addition to any other meeting. So a company should hold annual general meeting every year. In addition to it is holding the other meeting also, the class meeting or the board meeting, any kind of meeting may be held during the year, but annual general meeting must be held must be held every year.
Is it a statutory requirement?
Yeah, this is a statutory requirement. AGM is a statutory requirement, and like the AGM, this statutory meeting, AGM is also an important meeting. Every year, I told you, in public company, large number of shareholders are involved. Their interest is involved. They would like to know what has happened to their money which is invested.
They are the owners of the company?
They are the owners of the company. Though owner and company is different, but they are the owners of the company. Their money is involved in that. They would like to know whether their money has been in the right hands or not. So, main provision regarding annual general meeting is first AGM may be held within 18 months from the date of incorporation. That is, when the company is incorporated, the first AGM, the first annual general body meeting may be held within 18 months from the date of its incorporation. And the gap between the two meetings, the gap between two AGMs should not exceed 15 months. The extension can be given by the ROC, that is Registrar of Company, up to 3 months. If it is not held within 15 months, the company can request the registrar for the extension, to give some extension. So registrar can give up to 3 months, not more than 3 months, and it may go in the next calendar year. That 3 months if they are given, it may go to another calendar year, but it doesn't mean that when the extension is given and the the date has gone to another calendar year, it doesn't mean that the meeting of that year has been held. That is a different meeting. That is meeting of that year. But with the extension, if the date falls in the next calendar year, it doesn't mean that another calendar year AGM has been held. For AGM for that year will be held again. And then every year one AGM must be held excluding the first AGM, because first AGM is within the 18 months and other annual general meeting are every year, and the gap should not be 15 months. So every year it must be held. It is not that, as I told you, with the extension, if the time goes in the another year, then that year is not supposed, the company cannot take it for granted that the AGM of that year has been held. Are you following?
It means that the purpose of annual general body meeting is to provide an opportunity to all the members of the company, those who are owners of the company, to discuss on the annual report of the company as well as audit report of the company.
Yes. Because
And they have to conduct the meeting within 18 months of the first meeting within 18 months of the incorporation of the company. If they conduct within 18 months, they need not to conduct annual general body meeting with that year and the next year also at the initial stage. But every year within the calendar year, the company has to convene one annual general body meeting to place the annual report of the company as well as auditor report of the company before the members, to give an opportunity to raise their doubts or to participate in discussion on the issues which are mentioned in the annual general body in the audit report as well as annual report of the company.
Yeah, exactly. And there are two types of business transacted in annual general meeting, that is ordinary business and special business. What is ordinary business? It is specified that presentation of annual accounts, balance sheet, auditor reports, declaration of dividends, appointment of director in place of directors retiring by rotation, and appointment and fixation of remuneration of auditor. These are the ordinary business of a company. Now special business, any other business other than these four which have been given in the list of the ordinary business. Any business which is to be transacted other than ordinary business is called the special business.
Is there any prescribed place and day to conduct the annual general body meeting?
I am coming to that
please
point.
Explain.
Day, hour and place of annual general meeting. The notice of the meeting must be sent to all the members, and it should specify the day, the hour and the place of annual general meeting. Now it should be held during the business hour, not on a public holiday, and at registered office, where the registered office of the company is situated. Annual general meeting must be held in that place only, or any other place within that city, within that town or within that village.
Within the city of the registered office.
It must during the business hour, not on public holiday, and at the registered office. If not at the registered office, within the same city, town or village where registered office of the company is situated.
As per the rule, the company has to communicate 21 days before of the meeting. That is number one. For example, if the government declares holiday on that day, then what is the implication?
Just coming. Meeting should not be held on a public holiday. What is a public holiday? The public holiday which is announced by the government, which is as per the Negotiable Instrument Act. The holidays, public holidays, that holiday which is announced as per the, which is under the Negotiable Instrument Act. Now, company should take care that the meeting should not be called on a public holiday. If a meeting is called and notice is given to all the members, but it happens to be a public holiday, the government declares it as a public holiday, then the meeting can be called. It should not be adjourned or cancelled, postponed. The meeting, if the after serving the notice, 21 days notice to the members, the government declares that day, the day of AGM as public holiday, then it should not be treated as a public holiday. Then the meeting can be called or convened on that day.
As per the schedule.
Yeah. And if one AGM is called and during that annual general body meeting, the next meeting, next day of the AGM is decided, and that happens to be the public holiday, that meeting can also be held on that day. The bank holiday for the purpose of closing the accounts is not treated as a public holiday for that purpose. And adjourned meeting, if it is called and it happens to be the public holiday, then it can be called on that day. But initially, when the notice is served and the day is decided, the company has to be careful while for the deciding the date of the meeting. Suppose 15 August, 26 January, 2 October, they are the public holidays. If it has decided, say 3 or 4 August or like that, any day, and during and notice is served and and the government has declared that it will be a public holiday, then the meeting will be held on that day, same place and same time.
What are the items normally placed in the annual general body meeting?
That is, I told you, the business, this ordinary business and special business. That this is the appointment of auditor, the remuneration of the directors or the auditor, the retirement of the, suppose the directors are retiring by rotation.
Appointment of the directors.
Yeah. So these are the general items, the ordinary business items. And any other item like reduction of share capital, buyback of share, or any policy regarding loans, and these things, or creation of the reserve capital, these are the special items. Other than the ordinary items which are listed, that the appointment of auditor or directors and remuneration, these are ordinary business items. Other than those are called special items. They can be discussed in the annual general meeting. And second is, government may grant the exemption. The government may grant the exemption of holding the annual general body meeting at the registered office, and may not hold at that registered office or that place, but it may put certain conditions, so company has to follow those conditions. Default in holding the annual general body meeting. Company and every officer of the company is punishable with fine up to rupees 50,000. So it is a big punishment if the annual general body meeting is not held. Company and every officer is liable to a fine which may extend up to 50,000 rupees. And even if the meeting is not held, for every day till the default, the continuation of the default, if the company even then does not hold the meeting and the days go on, for every day it is punishable, it is will be fined for up to rupees 2,500 per day. Per day rupees 2,500 will be fined on the company and every officer if they continue
who are responsible for default of
the conduct of the, for the convening of the meeting, annual general body meeting, and 50,000 rupees plus if they continue their default, every day they will be fined rupees 2,500. It will continue till the default continue. And any member can request for the annual general body meeting, and company law board may call annual general body meeting on the application of any of its member. Next is extraordinary general meeting. Company is holding its statutory. Company has held the statutory meeting, and every year it holds the annual general meeting. But there are certain transactions, certain business which could not be transacted, or which it feels it should immediately call or take the consent of the shareholder. It can call the any other meeting between the two AGMs.
For example, if the company wants to take decisions on the emergency issues which cannot be wait for another annual general body meeting, they can take. They can call this extraordinary general body meeting.
Yes.
Extraordinary general body meeting. In such cases, if they want to alter the memorandum of the association,
Exactly. Or they winding up, they may go for the
or
winding up,
redemption of
or
share capital.
they may want to alter the object clause, and it cannot wait up to the next annual general body meeting, because it will be held, say, next calendar year. So that meeting, the meeting company can call the meeting, and that meeting will be called extraordinary general meeting, EGM. So any meeting which is held between two AGM is called the extraordinary meeting. Other than class meetings, and they can be held, or directors meeting.
This is not mandatory as per statute. Under unavoidable circumstances,
Yeah.
when they need to take urgent decisions,
Urgent decisions, and for that it can call the meeting. SI reduction of share capital, or the winding up order. The company may feel that it is going for losses, or cannot continue its business, or for any other reason, or the company is for this special project only, for purpose only, it want to wind up the business, or to alter the object clause, it has to call the general body meeting of the shareholders. So for that it can call that meeting, and that is called extraordinary general meeting of the company. And
who can call this extraordinary meeting?
extraordinary meeting can be called by the directors of the meeting, and person whose interests are involved, company law
Requisition
board,
of the
requisition
members
of the
also.
members also, and the board of directors also, and on the requisition of
Even sometimes company law board
law
can
board.
also.
Yes. That is the I will explain the authorities of calling the extraordinary meeting. Who has the authority? By board of directors on their own, by board on requisition of member, by requisitionist themselves, or by company law board. So if the board of directors, they think that they have to call the meeting, they can call the extraordinary general meeting. Or on the requisition of the members can give requisition to the directors for calling the meeting. The board may call on the request of those members. Even members also can call the meeting if the meeting is not held by the meeting is not called by the board of directors, by directors. Then the requisitionists themselves, they call the meeting within a reasonable time. If they have given the requisition, they have given the request to call the meeting, and the meeting has not been called by the directors. So the provision is there in the company law that the requisitionists themselves can call the extraordinary general meeting. Even company law board on the requisition of the members can call the meeting of the shareholders. Now class meeting, I just hurriedly explain this because there are other things also about the notice and agenda and proxy. Class meeting, as the name itself suggests, class meeting is the meeting of a particular class of shareholders, preference shareholders, like that. They may hold the meeting of that particular class of shareholders. Purpose: to alter article of association and their rights and privileges, and conversion of one class of shareholder into another. For that, the particular class of shareholders can call the meeting. What are the conditions to call class meeting? The provisions, there should be provision of the memorandum of association, and change is not prohibited by the terms of issue of such shares. And if there are terms on that, on the issue of shares that you cannot change, then meeting cannot be called. A provision which govern the general meeting are also applicable. Now, what are the requisites of a valid meeting? This I have explained you the types of shareholders meeting only. Statutory meeting, extraordinary general meeting, annual general meeting and class meeting. Now, requisites of a valid meeting. First is the notice. Notice of the meeting must be sent to all the members of the company who are entitled to vote, and representative of the members who have become insolvent or died, that is legal representative, auditor of the company, they should be sent the notice of the meeting. And notice can be advertised in the newspaper. But if the company is advertising the notice of the meeting in a newspaper, it doesn't mean that it should not send the notice to all the shareholders. Notice is must, but giving advertisement in a newspaper serve the purpose for those shareholders, for those members who have not given their address, or who are staying abroad, or who address is changed but they have not given their changed address. For the convenience of those shareholders, those members, the advertisement is given in the leading newspaper. But by giving notice of the general meeting in the newspaper, it doesn't mean that company can forego that requirement of not serving the notice, not giving the notice to the shareholders, to the members. 21 days notice is must to the shareholders. That is clear days notice. And who can call the meeting? That proper authority should be there. Board of directors, and board should pass the resolution by calling the general meeting. Period of notice, 21 days notice must be given. Shorter notice, as Dr. Raju asked me, can shorter notice be given? If the shorter notice is given, then it must be ratified by the shareholders in the meeting. Otherwise, the meeting is not a legally convened meeting. So, you can see in the slide that shorter notice is valid only if the consent of all the member is obtained in the case of annual general meeting. Other cases, member having the 95% of the paid up share capital or voting power. So, in case of annual general meeting, all the shareholders, and in case of any other meeting, 95% of the paid up capital, share capital or the voting power must be there. That must be, the consent must be given by those members. What is the quorum? Quorum of the meeting. What do we mean by quorum? Quorum is the minimum number of members in a meeting. The minimum number of members should be present in a meeting. In order to be the meeting to be a valid one, the minimum number of members should be present. In case of public company, 5 members. In case of private company, 2 members. If articles do not say this, article may provide for larger quorum, that okay, more than 5 members in case of public company and more than 2 members in case of private company, but lesser quorum may not be there in the articles. It cannot fix the lesser quorum. More large quorum can be fixed by the articles of association, but not the less quorum. And the purpose of quorum is that whatever is decided in the meeting should not be decided by the less number of persons, which may go against the majority of the shareholders' interest. I think the time is over.
Thank you, Dr. Madhutyagi. You have explained the kinds of company meetings and the procedures, rules and regulations which involved in conducting the meetings. So therefore, this statutory meeting is compulsory in the lifetime of the company, and this meeting should be conducted within not less than 1 month and not more than 6 months. If it is not conducted, then the defaulters is fined, and the purpose of annual general body meetings. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Raju.